All right, so here I have a billet of ash. I've drawn the pattern for this axe handle of mine onto this billet. I'm going to be rehafting this axe. This handle wound up just by bad luck having a check at the bottom of the knob here. And so I'm starting over on this project, but this handle won't be wasted. I'll drill out the wedge. I'll take the handle off without damaging any of it, hopefully. And then I'll be able to use this handle for duplication in the future. So I've drawn that pattern onto this billet, and I'm gonna cut this thing out and rehaft that bad boy, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully there's no checks in this one. When I tested it with the moisture meter, it's at 9% moisture content, which is pretty low right now, so I don't think it's gonna be doing any further checking. I don't know why I didn't notice the check in that handle before, but sometimes that just happens. I try to get the grain orientation as best as I could here. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can really see the red that I have drawn on here with this pattern, but I'm from here to here is pretty much the center of the grain. So that's what my pattern is following along. And this is a very straight grained billet. You probably can't see it at home, but it's very straight grained. And I always make sure that I buy the best stock that I can. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I take handles off without damaging the actual handle itself. So here we've got this black walnut wedge dripping pretty deep into this ash handle here. That's some staining that makes it look dark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to space out in the center here some just center punches. So I'm just going to use this little spike here that I have. Make sure I'm going to spot that. Seems adequate. And I'm going to space them out fairly evenly. Doesn't need to be perfect, but the evenness is what I mean. Doesn't need to be perfect, but the center does need to be pretty close to perfect. I'm gonna, on this spot, I'm gonna air a little closer to the very end here, and we might be able to get one in the middle. Let's give this a shot. So now that I got all my little center punch marks, I'm going to use those as guides. Now I've got this drill bit that I'm going to be trying very hard to hold straight up and down and going very slow. I mean, the bit I want to be going really fast, but pushing down pretty slow to start. Because I basically want to start the hole, make sure I'm in alignment with the handle, and then push down from there. So here we go. Checking as you go. Boom, through. Into some ash there. See, that one's getting off center, so I'm just gonna stop there. It's a very important lesson. If things start going wrong, don't force it. You got a lot that are already in the correct alignment, so there's no reason in ruining the handle just because you're trying to chase one little spot. So the next thing you do is you drill at an angle. Let me tighten up my vise here. I got a little strip of leather holding the handle in place, so it's a little slick. Next hole. Next hole. Next one. Next one. And then from here, you go from the other side. I'm trying to hold the handle from twisting, but okay. So now you have a lot of that hollow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up just by bending the bit in there. And you can actually see the wedge starting to separate. And that's because now that you've drilled that out, there's obviously space there for it to come out. And lucky for me, got my little pick here. Lucky for me, everything's going pretty good. Sometimes you run into trouble. But if you got to drill more, that's just part of it, right? Always opt to just do a slower amount of work. You don't want to do any of this hasty, otherwise you'll wind up ruining your handle. Okay, everything else is pretty drilled out. I'm gonna make sure that I've got the stuff on the front and the back, because this is always the stuff that sticks. Yeah, that's all right looking. Okay, now we look pretty clear. Yep, and I'm just gonna flip this and we're gonna tap that out. And I've got my punch to assist me. I have to. And that looks like this. This is the punch that I use. I'm using a rawhide mallet if you got one, or a wood mallet. You don't really want to be using metal on something you're trying desperately to save. So we start by getting a lot of this sawdust out. I hold it upside down and I tap it a couple times. That helps with the sawdust. I take a look inside, make sure that I'm not missing any of the wedge, because even a little bit of that wedge will do a lot to make it so this won't come off. So you really got to make sure and be certain that you got all of it. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the wedge winds up hiding in the front and the back, because that's the hardest part to clear with the drill bit. But this is going good. It's looking good. See, we're coming loose there, and you can see where the stain ended from hafting. Take my punch here, hold it sideways. This is a very large eye. There we go. The head is free, and the handle is pretty well intact. That's a little bit of stain and linseed oil. Kerf still looks good. See there, hafted by Tanner Wilcox, February 21st, South Portland, Maine. And I'm gonna have to fix this handle. I'm gonna make an insert so that way I can use this for duplication. But that came out really good. I'm very pleased with that. Success.